Alright guys, welcome back to Days of Darkness and welcome to my review of The Strangers. This one came out in 2008. It's starring Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman and was directed by Brian Bertino. Holy shit, man. So, in between big series reviews, we obviously wrapped up, the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I will be announcing the new series soon. I don't think it's going to be what you guys necessarily expect. I know we did Jason and Freddy. I'll just leave it at that. But I'm very excited for the new series. But, I like to break it up and kind of review individual movies. Or if it's just a standard 2-movie series like The Strangers, I'll just do it back to back. But yeah, man, I was just looking for some things to kind of, not hit the refresh button, but just some stuff to kill time. Not to make this sound like a throwaway review, because it's not. Everything on DOD is must-see, baby. But I was just looking around, and I saw The Strangers, because I have both of them. I'm getting all spitty. I saw both, because I have both of them in the same, multi-pack deal, whatever. And I saw this one, and I was like, I don't think I've seen this movie in, 4, 5, 6 years or something like that, man. It's been a while. So I was like, fuck it. And I put it on the list. I popped it in, and I fucking really like this movie. I'll say this, and this isn't necessarily a good or bad thing. There's not really a lot to this movie. And again, that is not a bad thing. Not every movie has to be some super complex, especially horror. Doesn't always have to be a super fucking complex, super convoluted, big think movie. There's not a lot to this, so then you have to look at it for the execution and how the movie is shot and the performances. And obviously you should look at that with any movie regardless of substance or anything like that. But, you especially look at that stuff when there's really not a lot happening. This is a very standard home invasion story. To me, where this movie shines through the most is in execution. I think the performances are fucking brilliant. I think the story, while it is very basic, it goes in some directions you're not necessarily expecting, which is always fucking cool with me. I thought the very ending was a little wonky. Wasn't quite sure how to feel about that, but guys, if you want to sit down for 90 minutes, I don't want to say shut your brain off, because I feel like that's kind of I don't look at it as an insult, but I think any movie should be looked at and analyzed to varying degrees. Obviously, someone just watching this for the fun of it is not going to be taking notes and, doing what I do, but nonetheless, this is a fucking awesome movie, man. It's, like I said, if you want to just sit down, enjoy a good 90 minutes of pretty fucking intense horror, this is the movie for you. I will say as well, this movie is fucking gritty. It's realistic. You're not gonna get a whole lot of hyper violence and heads exploding and shit, which, we here at DOD encourage that tenfold. But you're not going to get a lot of that here. And that's fine. Not every movie needs that. This is a very gritty, very grounded in reality horror movie. And I think it fucking works, man. I think the two titular protagonists... Titular? I think I used that word right. Anyways, I'm trying to sound smarter than I am. The two protagonists in this movie are really fun. I think Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman... James and Kristen in the movie, they're fucking cool. We'll get into their whole arc and all of that within the story itself, or within the spoiler section. But yeah, man, they're fucking great. But to me, the killers, dude. Oh my god. Just, so, again, not a lot to them. You really don't get any explanation of them at all, which I guess that could be kind of a spoiler. Sorry, but again, there's just not a lot to them. But again, I say that word a lot today. I don't know why. I always fixate on a certain phrase or word or something. But anyways, the way these guys are portrayed, the way the actors who are donning the mask performed their characters, and yada yada yada, it's fucking awesome, man. I mean, this is a very, very good basic story, basic movie. But when I say basic, I do not mean that in a bad way whatsoever. Fucking awesome movie. Some of the moments in this flick are just fucking great, dude. I will get all into it here in a couple minutes. But yeah, man. If you need the recommendation from me, 100% go out of your way. I think it's on Netflix. So if you have a Netflix account, 100% go out of your way to sit down and watch some good horror, man. Because this movie fucking kicks ass. Without further ado, baby, let's go ahead and let's get into the spoiler section and let's spoil the shit out of this motherfucker. Alright, spoiler time. Your ass has been warned. I don't know why I enunciated ass so much, but there we go. Yeah, man. This story kicks off in a very unique way. I know I just said, it's kind of basic. Again, not meaning that in a bad way whatsoever. But I will say the relationship between the protagonists is not something I see a whole lot in a movie like this. Obviously, you have couples in horror movies, or just movies in general, who are bickering and they're arguing and they're fighting and yada, yada, yada. And they're having, marital problems or relationship problems or whatever. That's not, unheard of whatsoever. But here, I really like the angle they took. We have our buddy James here, played by Scott Speedman, and he is essentially, he's just, he tries to propose to his girlfriend. They're at a wedding reception, I assume. And he pops a question, man, and it does not work out at all. It doesn't work. And he's fucking devastated. She's obviously very disheveled. They get back to their house, and obviously the reveal of what went wrong doesn't happen until a little later in the movie, but we're not doing a rundown. So they get back to the house, and I believe it's mentioned a couple times that it is his dad's house, and he was loaning it to him for the fucking wedding weekend, whatever. And yeah, man, there's rose petals on the bed and in the bathtub, and there's wine, and they have the table set up for a nice candlelit whatever. And it's so crazy to see this super romantic, very sweet setting just completely have the life just sucked out of it. Because these two people are not in any kind of mood to be loving or fucking or anything. They are pretty upset. And, there is no, big blow-up fight between the two of them. It's very somber. It's very sad. And, she gets in the bath and she's very upset and just it's a rough one, man. She eventually, they eventually get to the point where, which I like that it didn't have them just break up. That's not always something that happens with failed marriage proposals. They still stay together. It's just one of the people just isn't ready yet. And it happens, man. Obviously it sucks for the person who popped the question, but, I like that they just didn't, oh, well, fuck you too, break up. Because that happens a lot in movies, and it's like, that's not always necessarily the case. So again, very unique situation that these two characters are in before the horror ensues. They do get to, I know I said before they weren't necessarily the horniest of people, but they get there. And they are about to have some pretty slow, monotonous makeup sex. Until knock, 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 And then the shit just starts to hit the fan. And I like how it's very subtle at first. They open the doors. This pretty young blonde girl. She's asking, is Tamara home? And they go, you got the wrong house. She's like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah. Yes, you do. And so she walks off. Eventually, Kristen's like, oh, I need cigarettes. So fucking James, who's, again, it's very awkward. At one point, too, he actually calls his buddy Mike. He's like, dude, you gotta come get me. This is not it right now. But he takes the opportunity of her needing cigarettes to be like, okay, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here for a little bit, at least. So he goes off, and then that's when shit just goes haywire. The strangers, which I guess I'll call them, whatever. The strangers make themselves very well known at this point. Another knock on the door, much louder this time. Same question, is Tamara home? Very freaky shit. I love, because she's listening to some music, and whenever she opens the curtain and sees the male stranger, which I love, all three of the masks in this movie are fucking great. I love the two doll masks that the ladies wear, and then this dude just has this fucking sack that he drew a smiley face on. Creepy shit. But she sees him, and she opens up the curtain, and he fucking pounds on the window, and she gets freaked out, and she bumps the record player. I'm checking my hair. I'm a diva. Sorry. But yeah, man, she bumps the record player, and the record gets all fucked up. So for the next, I want to say, 5-ish minutes, we get a very, very fucking eerie, loop of this music. I'm not even going to attempt to impersonate it. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Just fucking eerie and creepy, and a fantastic use of sound. Because it gets very uncomfortable to listen to. Because it's like a 3 or 4 second loop. And it's just playing over and over as all this very scary shit is happening. And yeah, man, eventually James gets back. She's freaking the fuck out. They start looking. And then, we get a pretty... eventually they reveal himself to him too. He's like, okay, we gotta get the fuck out of here. They fuck up their car. There ain't no way they're getting out of there without some help. He eventually gets a hold of his gun, and they have a little fun with that. And we eventually get to Mike, who is the friend that James called, being like, bud, you gotta come pick me up, man. I am not having a good time. So he eventually does show up, being the good friend he is. And fuck, man, he walks through the house, and I love, again, I didn't even mention when Kristen was alone in the house, James was out getting the cigarettes. There's this amazing shot. It's probably my shot of the movie. That, and when the killer's like behind Mike, just kind of doing that. And at the very end, where the three of them are just standing in front of the couple. You know what I mean? Moving on. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves, Alex. But yeah, man, there's just this amazing shot of her slowly walking in the kitchen, and the dude just is in the house, just casually, and he just walks, not right up behind her, but he just kind of lingers for a long time, and when she turns back, he's gone. And it's so fucking creepy. It's so scary. There's another kind of similar scene, again, Mike's walking through the house now. Very peculiar stuff. Door handles are blown off. Car's fucked up. Doors just open. I'm pretty sure he's like, what the fuck is going on? And as he's walking through the hallway, the music's playing very loudly. The killer, the male killer, is coming up behind him with an axe, and he's just slowly coming up. And you're like, holy fuck, Mike's gonna get an axe in the head. But before James and Kristen are hiding in like a closet, and before the killer can even do anything, fucking James blows his goddamn face off. And like that's still like I've seen the movie before. And it still shocked the shit out of me. I was like, oh my god. He gets like half of his face fucking blown off. It's just crazy. And I like too that the killer, obviously James goes out to check on his friend, and this is when it became very obvious to me that these people are just fucking with them. They are just toying with them. They are having fun. This is fun for them. They're not just like, oh, kill them, get out. No, they are having, you can tell they've done this multiple times. They are very good at it, and they're just having fun. It's just a hobby, you know? Eerie shit, man. And them fucking with him again becomes very clear when James just crawls out, sees Mike, and just starts crying in the middle of the hallway, out in the open, and the killers don't strike. They just want to let them suffer for a little bit before the game continues. Fucking scary, man. But yeah, dude, just amazing emotion here. Probably my favorite scene of the movie. It's just crazy. There's a lot of contenders for scene of the movie, though, because this movie is fucking great. After that, we get some more fun, which I won't necessarily give away. Again, if you wanna know what happens in the movie, go watch the movie. But yeah, man, we get some really good stuff after that. Mainly, to me, the final chase with Kristen. Amazing stuff out in the kind of wooded area of the, I guess you could call it it's not really a cabin. It's just a very secluded house. But yeah, there's some good stuff. She fucks up her knee real bad. Amazing suspense with the radio getting smashed up as soon as she's able to contact somebody. It's like so fucking close. You're eventually, also before this, James gets taken out. Not killed, but gets knocked out by the male killer, stranger, whatever. So it's just Kristen now. She fucks her knee up super bad, tries to get in contact with somebody. One of the lady killers is like, nope! Fucking busts that thing up. And dude, oh man, we eventually get her in the closet, which is, there's a lot of inspiration, a lot of Halloween inspiration, at least that I saw. It's my fucking favorite horror movie. So maybe I'm just reading into things too much, but I saw it, so anyways. But yeah, man, she's hiding in the shuttered closet. Blondie comes up. Well, no, first the male is like kind of walking around, and it's not, I don't mean this as an insult, but it's pretty obvious that he knows. It's pretty obvious that he knows she's in there. And again, I hadn't seen this in a long time, and I always hate when killers just don't look everywhere. It's like, why would you just not look in every fucking corner of the room before you leave? He kind of capitalizes on that, or, they kind of capitalize on that cliche here of him just not looking everywhere and then leaving. Because, he looks everywhere, and he knows she's in the closet. These aren't stupid people. So he leaves, and Blondie just boom and starts fucking with the shutters. And again, there's no reason why she couldn't have just flung open those doors and killed her. But again, this is not just about killing them. This is about terrifying them. This is fun. This is a hobby. This is an art form to these people. And yeah, man, so she eventually just disappears, and she finds the ring that James has tried to give her in the beginning of the movie, proposals and whatnot. And yeah, man, she ends up getting knocked the fuck out by the guy, stranger. And yeah, man, and then we're in mourning, which I love the touch of having the climax and the scariest, most intense scene of the film. And that's debatable, but one of the scariest scenes in the film happened in broad daylight. To me, one of the best things about this movie that I haven't even mentioned is another comparison you can draw from Halloween, is the fact that this is just a normal little town. This is not anything out of the ordinary. This is not like some big monster coming to get them. This is not out of the realm of reality. As scary as it sounds, what the fuck is stopping 3 people breaking in a house anywhere in the world and just killing people because they feel like it? It's not out of the ordinary at all, because it happens all the fucking time. This movie was actually loosely based on 3 different things. I'm forgetting about one of them. Oh, I had it in my head and I just fucking lost it. It's the cabin murders. Anyone who wants to look it up, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's based off of that, the Manson murders, and a little personal story from Bertino's life where someone knocked on his door, and it was actually the opposite of The Strangers, where he these people who were knocking on doors were actually looking for houses where people weren't home so they could come in and rob them. And it's very fortunate for young Bertino that they did not have the motives that the characters in his movie do. But yeah, man, just a fucking eerie, creepy, very realistic story. Got off track there, but yeah, it's daytime, and they are both tied up, and you're thinking, okay, cops are gonna show up, someone's gonna save the day, James is gonna break out Hulk Hogan style and do a babyface comeback. No, they just stabbed them. They stabbed the fuck out of both of them. And you're just like, oh my god. I love the touch, and it's such raw, visceral emotion, but I love the touch of them holding hands before they both get stabbed, presumably to death. When they just both hold hands, and she has the ring on her finger, I was like, oh, dude. And she's whispering to him, she's like, I love you so much, and it's sad, man. It's fucking, this is not a fun movie to watch. It's a fun horror movie, no doubt, but the subject matter is not fun. But yeah, man, so they slowly, I also like the touch of them revealing their faces to them. It's like, we don't give a shit if you see us, you're gonna fucking die. And they kill the shit out of James. And again, it's not like they're not just going like, bah! It's slow stabs. Like, they just go, and I'm like, it's like worse, because you're just slowly fucking killing this guy, and they stab the shit out of Kristen too, and you're just like, fuck, man. Now, here's the ending that I'm talking about, which, I'll be honest, didn't really work for me. As morbid and as fucked up as it sounds, I really would have just rather these 2 characters just die. And, you know, it's fucked up, but not every movie on planet Earth has to have a happy ending. You could easily build a series off these 3 strangers characters, and fucking, you know, as long as they're good, it'd be awesome. Which they eventually did make another one, which we'll talk about at a later date. But yeah, man, this ending kind of felt a little tacked on. We get these, they're not Jehovah's Witnesses, because they have like a pamphlet that says Christian living. And I do, as much as I don't really like this ending, I do like the line of the strangers, you know, they pull up next to him, and Blondie gets out, and she goes, can I have one of those? And he goes, you don't see her face ever, but he goes, are you a sinner? She's like, sometimes. Which, speaking of lines that I love so much, I didn't even fucking mention this, but when they're tied up and before they stab them, Kristen has been, like, multiple times in this movie, has asked, why are you doing this to us? Like, why? And I'm pretty sure it was Blondie, gives the most eerie, creepy statement or answer to that question I've heard in a fucking horror movie. You know, she's like, why are you doing this to us? And she's just like, because you were home. Again, this could they just wanted to fucking do it. They're like, we saw the house. You were home. Sorry. It's just, there's no reason for it. Which, you know, if you know my love of Michael Myers, you don't always need a reason. You don't always need it explained in vivid detail why people are doing the things that they are doing. Sometimes it's just this, because you were home. But anyways, man, so the Christian boy, he goes, are you a sinner? She's like, sometimes. Like just now. And he gives her the pamphlet. They drive off. And again, we already don't need this ending. I really just wish they would have had those two characters die. They drive off, triumphant, very somber, bitter ending. But yeah, so the Christian boys get into the house. There's also, I totally skipped over the fact that Kristen wakes up from being stabbed multiple times and bleeding for what I imagine to be a couple hours. And is trying to crawl towards Mike's phone that is ringing. And, you know, the male stranger comes up to her, turns her over, and I'm like, okay, kill her. Like, kill her. She's down. Kill her. And he just walks off. He disables the phone, takes the battery, and just walks off. Or he might just take it. I don't know. But it's like, you paint these killers as very efficient, very smart killers. And it's clear that this woman, while she is injured, she's alive. And is, you know, it's not like it's unheard of for people to survive multiple stab wounds. So it's like, why would you not cover your tracks? I mean, she saw your face. And it makes the ending even more stupid to where I guess he just assumes she's gonna die. And so when the Christian boy comes up, by the way, James is dead. We see that he's, you know, his eyes are open. He's dead. But yeah, the Christian boy comes up and, like, I guess is, like, trying to touch her face or check her pulse or something. And she just grabs his wrist and, you know, we get that standard early 2000s, not early 2000s, but 2000s horror movie cliche where it's just big jump scare at the end and that's it. That whole ending felt kind of on me. I really didn't need it. It doesn't, like, deter my enjoyment of the movie too much. But I'm just like, you really didn't need that. Really didn't need that. But hey, you know, this movie fucking rules, guys. Weird ending and all. I fucking really enjoy it. Again, I 100% recommend you guys go check this out. It is very, very fun. Watch this with a couple buddies Halloween night. You know, watch it with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whoever. You know, it's a fucking kick-ass movie. And yeah, man. That'll do it for the review portion of the video. But you know what we gotta do now, baby? We gotta get into the blood, the guts, and the gory bits. We gotta get into our kill of the film. Stick around. The Strangers is a movie where you can sit down and not really have to unpack a whole lot by the end. It is a very raw, gritty, grounded, realistic, and for lack of a better term, basic horror movie. And as a result of that gritty realism, there's not a lot of, like, over-the-top blood and gore. You know, no head explosions, like I'm pretty sure I said that. But yeah, you're not going to get, like, a big splatter fest here. The kills we do get, though, which there are only technically 2, really should have been 3. But you only get 2 deaths in the movie. Which, again, you know, it's not, I wouldn't call this a slasher flick by any means, because that's a big body count, crazy kills, and that's just not this. Again, all love to the Strangers, this movie fucking rocks. But, out of the two of them, I feel like James's death is very impactful. I feel like there's a lot of emotion, a lot of raw sadness to his death. I mean, he's just getting slowly stabbed. The love of his life is whispering, I love you so much, yada, yada, yada. And we just cut to him and he's dead. He just bled out. And it's like, oh my God. Absolutely love that scene and all of its bummer emotion. But to me, man, the one that just fucking kicked my teeth in was Mike. And just that out of nowhere element of him just getting stalked by the male stranger. And you think, okay, he's going to get an axe in the back or the head, or he's going to turn around and get it to the face or something. Nope. Walks all the way to the closet door, just pokes his head around and gets his face just fucking blown off. Again, you don't get a big splatter fest or anything like that, but this one, is pretty fucking good, man. Great after effects with the face being half gone. But just a fucking great scene, just out of fucking nowhere, which a lot of the times that's a great way to do a kill scene. It's just boom, done, gone. Like, holy shit. But yeah, guys, that'll fucking do it for The Strangers. 150%. Go out and see this. It's on Netflix. And next time on Days of Darkness, we are going to be talking about the sequel to The Strangers that came out 10 years later. And that is The Strangers Pray at Night. Can't wait to talk about that one with you guys, because it is drastically different from this movie. in good and bad ways, which we'll get all into that later. Also, stay tuned for the big fucking announcement coming October 31st. Very excited to talk to you guys about all that jazz. And without further ado, man, thank you as always for the support. Thank you for clicking on this video and watching me talk about fucking horror movies all the time. I fucking appreciate you guys. And you guys are going to get something really, really cool down the line. I mean, you're going to get a bunch of cool shit. New series review coming soon, yada, yada, yada. So, very excited for all of that. Without further ado, take care of each other and keep watching horror. All right, guys. Have a good one.